What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and in a few days you're going to get a transcending selector. So I thought I'd give you guys the rankings for the characters that you're going to be able to use that selector on. Now, I think it goes without saying, if you don't have a certain character, you want to get them for a story mode, go ahead and use it for them. A lot of these characters you don't really even need a uniform for because they're outdated, they're not very good, and you're just using the selector just because you have it, and you just need to transcend a character that you don't have transcended. So we'll start from the bottom and work our way up to the top. Starting with the bottom one, it's going to be Elsa. Elsa, unfortunately, just got the shaft. She did get an awakened skill, but she never got a uniform. This uniform is years old, literally, which is a real bummer, real shame. I mean, really the only thing good about this character is her leadership, the 30% increase of physical attack. That's really the only reason you would want this character. I mean, again, other than story mode, that's pretty much about it, unfortunately. The next one would be War Tiger. War Tiger is actually, he's a good character. I mean, he's got a nice little heal in his passive. He's got, the Wolverine heal, and it's nice, right? But his damage is just pitiful. The guy doesn't have very much power at all. I mean, you would think with that giant scythe, he'd be a lot stronger than what he is. And even since day one, he never was really that good. Really, the only Warriors of the Sky that was actually really, really good was Blue Dragon. And she isn't even available for this transcended list. And even if she was, she isn't very good anymore either. She's pretty much crap anymore, which is kind of a shame. The next one's another Warriors of the Sky, which is Shadow of the Shell. Or Shadow Shell. I said Shadow of the Shell. Shadow Shell. Shadow Shell is actually a really decent character. She's actually really good in AC. She does have an accumulation based on how much damage you take. And she does have immunity. And she's got a lot of nice little things in her kit. She's actually decent for AC. But that's pretty much about it. I mean, her damage is very, very lackluster compared to some of the other characters on this list. And like I said, the Warriors of the Sky they fell off so quickly. It wasn't even funny. It's really unfortunate because, we really, whenever they showed up, a lot of us were really, really excited about these characters because we thought, man, they're going to be really, really great. But they ended up being really, really just kind of okay. Then the next one, in my humble opinion, would be Red Skull. Now, Red Skull, the thing that hurts this character the most is the fact that his passive here, it's nice to have that all attack by 30%. That's awesome. But the increased basic damage dealt to superheroes by 120% unless it's in PvP, it's pretty much useless because all of our world bosses are villains, right? So it's one of those things, and even in the story mode, you're facing a lot of villains. So it's kind of like the passive doesn't really help him that much. He's got a decent little kit. He's got a heal. He's got a 60% increase to his attack right here. He's got some good things going on. The immunity, there's that heal, but he's fallen off big time. Back in the day, he wasn't too bad in timeline if you manually played him. But this is so far, all the characters I've listed, if they have a uniform or not, you really shouldn't get them, right? Elsa, terrible. War Tiger doesn't have a uniform. Shadow Shell doesn't have a uniform. Red Skull has a uniform, but I wouldn't even advise buying it at this point in the game. And then we get into Red Guardian. And Red Guardian, again, it's kind of like Red Skull. I wouldn't buy this uniform. A thing that's nice about Red Guardian, this is really more of a Shadowland thing, is that he can be a villain or a hero. He's a villain in his base kit, and then he's a hero with his uniform. And that is nice thing about the character, but he just isn't that good. That's kind of the thing. He's got ignore target dodge rate, and he's got some things in his kit, but his damage is pretty lackluster. That's his biggest problem. He's got some decent survivability, but his damage is very, very lackluster. And you'll find that you're probably not going to be using him unless you're using him for a requirement for story mode, unfortunately. The next one on the list would probably be Amadeus. Amadeus against regular world boss is actually really, really good. The thing that hurts this character a lot is his lack of damage against world boss legend, Null, and Mephisto. But against the regular world bosses, he actually can put in some pretty good damage. He really can. He's got an all defense down that goes up to 60%, which isn't bad. He's got the increased basic damage by 50% for one attack, that damage prop. He can increase his critical damage by another 50%, so he hits really, really hard. But he's got long cooldowns, so he isn't very proc friendly at all. That's something that hurts the character. A lot of players are looking for more proc friendly characters because they're easier to play with. And Amadeus isn't one of those characters. And really at this point in the game, I wouldn't buy this guy's uniform either. He's pretty lackluster. Let's be honest. If you're awakening characters, you're more than likely awakening them for high-level PvP content, like Timeline, or you're using them in PvE content like World Boss. And for those specific game modes, Amadeus isn't very good. The next one, in my opinion, would be Gwyneth. Now, Gwyneth's actually a pretty decent character. She is fairly proc friendly. She does have a lot of nice little things in her kit. You know, with the dodge rate increase here, she's got the damage proc on the 5, which can actually carry over. You can actually cancel the skill and go into another skill and put that damage proc on another skill, which is the 4 in her case. She got the attack buff by 30%, which is awesome. She got an insane accumulation, 1.5%. I mean, she's got a lot of nice little things. She's got a recovery, a heal. She's got a lot of really good things in her kit. That's pretty awesome about the character. But her damage is, you know, it's not as high as what you'd really like it to be. The uniform is absolutely beautiful, and I do think at this point in the game, she is a character that you could use, right? You could use her in World Boss Legend to get it done, but she has fallen off quite a bit. I mean, this uniform's been in the game now for about 1 year. And then the next one's a real interesting one because it's Dr. Octopus. Now, Dr. Octopus is actually still relevant for a lot of players, including myself. I don't have Bullseye leveled up, so I actually use Dr. Octopus in squad battle religiously. I mean, squad battle is pretty much a joke when you have a certain amount of Pierce on your account. I mean, I always just autoplay it and let it go, and he does it enough. I mean, I stay in Vibranium, no problem, still collecting all those Mandalay gems, and he gets it done for me. I mean, I do run a rage on him, but he is a character that can play with a proc. He's got a lot of good things in his kit, but I think the thing about Dr. Octopus that I would tell everybody is, if you're going to transcend this character, then I would bet that more than likely he's going to get a new uniform due to the new Spider-Man movie coming out, which looks amazing, right? That movie's got a lot of hype about it, and he is in that trailer, right? He is, you know, from the Tobey Maguire version, the Sam Raimi version of Spider-Man, that Octopus is going to be coming up in that movie, so more than likely, we're going to get another uniform, let's hoping for the best, for Dr. Octopus. So I would really kind of advise people like to save their crystals and maybe buy that uniform if he gets one. It's not a guarantee that he's going to get a uniform, but I'd almost bet that he would. If he doesn't, that's going to be a huge missed opportunity from Netmarble because this uniform has been in the game for quite some time. Then the next one would be Medusa. Now, Medusa is actually a very solid character on her own. She's a very good, strong, standalone character. She has a great leadership that increases to all universal, that has a 45% increase to all universal types, which is awesome. And then she has the passive, which actually increases damage to supervillains by 45%. That applies to inhuman allies. So, I mean, if you already have Black Bolt at tier 3, or you're playing on tier 3 in Black Bolt, she's going to be a really good support. Black Bolt and Medusa can get a clear against World Boss Legend Null without any Pierce. I did it before back in the day when I didn't have any Pierce on my account at all, so they are more than strong enough to do it. And she can play well with a proc. She does play better with a rage, unless you're doing one shots, then having a proc would actually be better, but she can play with a proc. She's got a lot of insane attack buffs, 35% on the 5. She's got a 70% attack buff on the 3, which is just nuts. Oh, she's got a lot of great things going on in her kit. The girl is very strong with the ignore target dodge. She's just a really good character as a standalone character, and she has kind of fallen behind a little bit, but she's still very good, and it's still a very good character to transcend it. If anything, you're going to be getting her at least for a leadership and as a sub DPS character. And then number one, I think it goes without saying, is going to be Moon Knight. And Moon Knight still has a lot of relevance in this game. You can still use him for ABX. He's got Silence, Burn, and Paralyze in his kit. He's super proc friendly. I mean, the character is just easy to play with the 3. And there's that burn on the 3. Cancel 5 and then go into the 4. I mean, he's just a really easy character to play. He's got a lot of great survivability. Moon Knight's just an awesome character, right? He's got all this extra chain hit damage in this uniform. Now, the thing about Moon Knight is, I mean, this is an insanely good uniform, but I'd almost tell people at this point in the game to maybe hold off on it because Moon Knight is going to be getting a series on Disney+. And we all know that Netmarble does give us uniforms based on these series. I mean, so far they did it for, you know, WandaVision. They did it for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So they did it for Loki. So, I mean, they're probably going to do it for Moon Knight as well as She-Hulk, who isn't in this conversation today because she doesn't have a transcendent skill or anything. But that is something to keep in mind about Moon Knight. I mean, this is a damn good uniform. Even today, by today's standards, it's still very strong. But he probably will get a uniform for the Moon Knight series. So that is something to keep in mind as far as whether or not you should buy the uniform for him during Black Friday. So, I mean, when it comes to uniforms, Moon Knight and Dr. Octopus are very, very iffy, especially Dr. Octopus. As far as buying uniforms, I probably would recommend that you don't do it, but they might be really good characters to transcend. Moon Knight, if you don't have Moon Knight transcended, you should absolutely be transcending him because he is going to be the best in the game if you have this uniform on him. But again, he's probably going to get a uniform that's going to be even better than this one. But we'll wait and see. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, all we can do really is speculate when it comes to any new uniforms that are going to be coming into the game. But as it stands right now, the number one would be Moon Knight. Now, something I want to touch on really quick is Hela here. So not too long ago, it was Datamined that Hela's going to get a mid-month tier 3. Now, that's pretty damn exciting news. I mean, Hela does have a really good leadership for characters with energy attack, right? And that's nice. That's really good. But you really never want to level up a character just for leadership, although that looks like that's what we're doing for Athena, who's insanely expensive, but I digress. If Hela doesn't get a uniform, that's all she's going to be, because this uniform isn't worth a crap. This thing is way outdated. This came out when Thor Ragnarok came out years ago. So it's not a good uniform at all. So if she doesn't get a new uniform, which I haven't seen anything about any data mine information concerning that, then that's all she's going to be. So it's hard to get excited for her if she doesn't get a uniform. If she is getting a uniform, it is. And remember, when it comes to data mine information, you should always take it with a grain of salt. You know, I mean, they confirm it. I mean, people are saying that it's guaranteed that she's going to be a mid-month tier 3, and she more than likely will be. But again, you should always be reserved on these kinds of things. But personally, I'm only going to get excited for this if she actually gets a new uniform and it actually is the goddess that she should be. So let me know how you're all feeling about, you know, the Transcendent Selector list. You know, who are you going to transcend? And let me know about the information about Hela, if you're excited, if you're not excited. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT plus 7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See ya.